So get this, I get to have control over the camera. Yeah, it's not scripted. It's just me, you gals. Some of you guys, I don't know if guys watch this or not, but guess what we're going to do today? We're going to make pickles. We're going to can some pickles. And we're going to do it a little bit different than what we did before. You know, last time I showed you the video of pressure canning, using the jiggler and the pressure canner. Well, not today. We're doing hot water bath canning. We're doing what they call low temperature pasteurized canning. Very simple. So I want to show you how to do that. Okay, let's get started. Okay, I gotcha. See ya. Bye. Okay, it's like this. I just fired my cameraman. The director, you know him as Brother Cowboy. Yeah, I just fired him. No, not really. He's going out there to work on the greenhouse. But he's out of my hair. Yes. So get this, I get to have control over the camera. Yeah, it's not scripted. Wait. You know, I do kind of miss the cameraman. Wait, right there. Okay, here we go. So, because I can't hold all of this wisdom of canning in my head, I have my directions right here, okay? Always, always have your directions nearby, okay? So, I want to start with the ingredients and let's show you what we got here, okay? Right here, I have my pickling cucumbers. I've cut them up in wedges, but I do want you to know that I have kept them in a salt water brine. It's just water and salt water for 3 days. They can sit in a brine in the refrigerator for up to 7 days. You just want to make sure that you keep something on top of them when they're soaking in that water, because sometimes they want to float to the top. So just set you something on top. What I did was I had a plastic container that they set in, and I had another plastic container that I put the water, just plain water in to weigh it down, and I set that on top, and I set it in my refrigerator, covered up of course, for 3 days. So now I'm ready to can them. And so I've got my pickles, my cucumbers. I've got vinegar, and you want to use the 5% white vinegar. You do not want to use apple cider vinegar. I've got my pickling salt, and of course this comes from Amazon. And I've got sugar. I have some sugar here. I have Star West Botanicals pickling spices. And where did I get this? Yes, Amazon. Of course, Amazon. A girl's best friend. And then I've got your mustard seed, your dill seed. I've got some dill weed, some garlic. And here I've got a little dish of vinegar with a paper towel, because this is what you wipe your rims with. I have my lids that by seals, my flats. I call them my flats. They're already sterilized. I've got my rims already cleaned, and my jars are sterilized. I've got my jar lifter. I've got my funnel, my wide mouth funnel. I've got my lid lifter. I've got my little chopstick that I use to get the air out. Remember, we talked about that last time. I've got over here, in this pot over here, it's already starting to boil. I have 8 cups of water and 6 cups of the vinegar already boiling. And then I have my canner. This is not my pressure canner. This is just a regular deep pot. I have, if you'll look, I have the tray here that you want to put at the bottom, the trivet, whatever. And I have, you can use a candy thermometer if you want to, but I have a thermometer here because we're going to need that to make sure we get our temperature to the right degree for canning these pickles, okay? So to get started, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take a tablespoon of this pickling spice. And you want to get you some cheesecloth. I couldn't find my cheesecloth, but I had an old t-shirt and I cut it to about a square. And I put the tablespoon of pickling spices in there and tied it off. And now that this is boiling, this 8 cups of water and 6 cups of vinegar is boiling. I'm going to toss that in there, okay? And this is what is going to become your canning brine. So you want that to boil for about 10 minutes, and then you can cut it off, okay? But you want to make sure your jars are ready, everything's ready to go, so that you can be ready to pour that into your jars. You don't want it to boil too long, or what happens is it steams out, and then you end up losing some of your liquid through steam. So what we're going to do here is I have 1/4 cup of sugar, and I have 1/2 cup of salt, and I'm just going to go ahead and pour those down in there too, okay? So there goes the sugar, and there goes the salt. Oh, and it plopped down in there, didn't it? Real good. You notice it stopped boiling, but that's going to dissolve down in there, okay? Let me get a spoon so something I can stir with. Let's give that a good stir. Get all that sugar and salt to dissolving. Got your pickling spice down in there. And you're going to want to use anywhere from 4 to 8 pounds of pickles, of cucumbers. I have about 4 pounds here, okay? So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start loading my jars, okay? And I don't know that it's going to take all of these jars, but I'm just going to fill until I don't have any more pickles, okay? And so you want to just, excuse me, I'm getting this wrong. You want to first put you some garlic. You're going to put 1 garlic clove in each jar. You know what? I'm just going to be wild, on the wild side. I'm going to put 2. I'm going to put 2 cloves in there. I like garlic. So let's put 2 cloves in there. Might be that I just can get 4 jars today because I'm not using a lot. So what I'm going to do next is I have, I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of mustard seed. Let me go ahead and get my little teaspoon out. Okay, so you want to put about a teaspoon. For this quart-sized jar, I think I'm going to go ahead and put 2 teaspoons. For pints, maybe 1, but for quarts, put in 2 teaspoons of mustard seed in each jar. I'm hoping I can even get 2 jars out of all of that. So there's the mustard seed. You want to do the same with the dill seed. You're going to put 2 teaspoons in each jar. Give it that good dill flavor. Okay, there you go. Then, drop you some dill down in there, okay? Some fresh dill. Doesn't matter how you put it in there, just stick it down in there. Love the smell of dill. One of my favorite things is to smell is dill. I'm going to put about, let's say 4 sprigs each. Got enough of that. Oh, that smells delicious. So I'm going to put these sprigs down in there. I'm going to go ahead and turn this brine off. Let me go ahead and cut that off. Some people like to put onion I don't really put onion down in my pickles. Not my favorite taste in pickles. But, you know, to each his own. So I've got all this dill down in there. So I've got all this dill in here, and I tell you what, I remember growing up, my granny making pickles. Wonderful, wonderful memories making pickles with my granny. Of course, she liked to do a lot of pressure canning. Of course, with this, you don't pressure can. Really, you don't pressure can your pickles, because I've learned, because they're crispier if you low pasteurize, low temperature do it. They're crispier. So what I'm doing here is I'm wiping the rims with vinegar, okay, just to sterilize the rims. So I've got everything I need here. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start ladling in the brine. So I've got everything in there, all the spices are in there. I'm going to start loading up the pickles, the cucumbers down into the jar. And try to pack them as good as you can. Get as many in there as you can. And you don't want your pickles to be too high up. You want to use good sized pickles. You don't want them to be too large. You've got to leave at least a 2-inch headspace at the top. So let's get these in here. Alright, so I'm going to load the rest of these jars and we'll be back. Okay, almost done. Yep, and it's going to be about 4 quarts I'm going to have here. You know, I was putting these pickles in, I started thinking about times at Granny's. And in the summertime, you know, of course, pickling. People like to do pickling in the summer. And so, you know, Granny's, I don't know about y'all, but that was the place to go, was Granny's. Cousins, you know, aunts, uncles, we'd have good old times at Granny's, and I'll never forget. Those cousins, it would get hot, you know, it gets hot in Texas. And she had those, I don't know if y'all remember, those metal chairs. They're metal chairs. And they'd sit out there in the sun and get hot. And we had some vicious cousins. They would take us girls and force us to sit on those chairs. And oh, that was just mean. China Berry, our cousins could sometimes be so mean, but you know what? They all grew up to be so loving. I miss them. I really do miss my cousins. I do. Okay, so there we go. We got our jars filled, and I don't need these. So now we're going to take the brine and we're going to pour the brine into the jars. Let's do that now. Now notice I got them setting on a towel. Okay. And these are wide mouths, so I don't need the thin, the small rims. I need the wide mouth rims. Somebody told me they've got flats, these flats. They make them now to where you can, they're more made out of a plastic material. And you can actually sterilize them, reuse them. Now you know that with these metal ones, after you open up a jar and you're through with that jar of pickles, you do not save those flats and wash them and reuse them. Those have to go in the trash. So from my understanding is there is some flats that are made to be reused. I'm going to investigate that and I'll let y'all know. So now it's time to pour the brine in, okay? Here we go. Let me move these stuff out of the way so I can get right up to it. Oh, I smell it. It smells good. There is a company that is close by. Well, Sue, don't be a dork. Excuse me. I'm being a dork. I can be a dork. Carl says it's dingy. Okay, white girl, blonde-headed white girl. But anyway, there is a company. Carl brought a business card home. Brother Cowboy brought a business card home. A company that makes pickles that are flavored like cheesecake, strawberry cheesecake, or watermelon flavor pickle. I'd have to put the link down below. I believe they have a website, and I'll put the link down there so y'all can check that out. It's pretty cool, the different flavor, peach flavor pickles. Can you imagine? And that's another thing. My mother-in-law was telling me today, by the way, Mama Myrtle, bless her heart, is here to visit with us this weekend. I'm so excited she's here, and I'm enjoying the visit. But she says that she has somebody that used to make pickled peaches. Have you ever heard that? I've never heard of pickled peaches. I can't even imagine. Now I've got some okra that I bought and that I'm going to make tomorrow. I'm going to pickle some okra the same way that I'm doing it here. So if you want it, instead of cucumbers, you can do okra. Okay, let's get all that brine in there. Ooh, that smells delicious. Here, I'm going to go ahead and get a lid and close those off, okay? Got my little lid lifter here. Come on, lid lifter. Do it. There we go. Stick that on there. Put me a ring on there, and you want to make it what they call just finger tight. You don't want to tighten it too much. And let me do this one over here. Get my lid. Put that on there. And let's go ahead and finish the rest. So I'm going to get 4 good jars. I only bought, like I said, 4 pounds of cucumbers. I didn't buy the whole lot. So that means as much as my family loves pickles, I'm going to have to go back and buy some more, make some more. I don't know about y'all, but my kids, they live out of state. I have a daughter in Arkansas, a son in Louisiana, a daughter in Minnesota, and all my grandbabies are in those areas. And so I plan on sending them some pickles. So, and let me tell you about these pickles, that once you're done and you want them to set for 2 weeks before you crack them open, because you want them to still kind of ferment and get the flavor of all of that brine to kind of soak into those pickles, okay? So don't open them for 2 weeks. All right. Now, if you'll see over there, I've got my temperature, my little thermometer sitting there. And I've already preheated the water. Is preheated to about 120, because whenever you set your jars down into the water, you want the water to be at a warm temperature so you don't accidentally crack a jar. I don't see how you would if you got hot brine in here, but it's just always best to go ahead and just have that water kind of warm. And it's about 2 quarts in there right now, but I'm going to end up, I'm going to use another lid because that looks cloudy to me. You want to put about 2 quarts of water in there just to warm it up. And then you're going to set your jars in there, and then you're going to put more water. This is a situation where you do cover the jars with water. Okay, finger tight. So now you're going to take your jars and you're going to move them on over to the canner. Okay? Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my fire on, and this is one of those situations too, like I told you under the about the pressure canning. You kind of got to gauge it, your heat, on how to adjust your your gauge on your stove, okay, the heat on your stove. You have to look at your temperature gauge. Like on the pressure canner, you've got your gauge on top of your pressure canner. You have to watch that, and you have to stay real close with it for a little while to see how you need to adjust the dial on your stove. Well, the same here. You've got this instead. You don't have you're not going to put a lid on here. You're just going to have this. And so you're going to want to keep an eye on that, because you're going to want to get it to 180 degrees, okay? And it's going to stay at 180 degrees and simmer or boil at 180 degrees for 30 minutes, okay? So let me get some hot water to pour over these jars, okay? Be right with you. I got my water in, and if you look, I've got it about 2 inches above the lids. Excuse me, above the lids, okay? So I've got right now I've got my fire on high. My temperature gauge is still at about 130 or 140. So now I'm wanting to get it to 180. Now I got this from Amazon. Imagine that, Amazon. And so I like this one because it's got a little red dial on here, so I have it set right here to where I want my temperature to get. So once it gets there on that little red marker there, I want it to stay at that setting, at that temperature for 30 minutes, okay? So I'm just kind of keep an eye on it. I do want to tell you this. Sometimes when you do canning, for some reason, the boiling process, it puts a sediment on your cans, so on your jars. So if you put a splash of vinegar in there, just a splash, it takes care of that. It takes away that sediment that you see on your jars. So always remember to do that. So we're going to let this get to 180. We're going to let it stay at 180 for 30 minutes, and then we'll be back. Okay, so right now, let's see, we're about at 160. We're almost there. But listen, I want to talk to you about those pickles again. This is the company, okay? Brother Cowboy met this guy while he was getting the car inspected, and the guy told him that he makes special pickles. And so let me tell you, on the back of the card, it has the flavors, and some of those flavors are just like in a pickle, really. But I tell you what, I'd like to try them. But anyway, it's called TexasParadisePickles.com. And so their phone number, you can contact them by texting 682-558-7036. No calls, please. Text only. But listen, they have cherry limeade pickles. Doesn't that sound... Cotton candy pickles? Really? Okay. Spicy mango pickles. Oh, super sour cherry. Margarita flavored pickles. Hello. So anyway, y'all give them a look at, okay? Go to their website. Like I said, it's TexasParadisePickles.com. I think I showed this to my daughter. My daughter's a pickle-aholic, and she says she wants every one of them. So, yeah. But I don't know how much they cost. I haven't even placed my first order, but they're going to be getting an order from me, okay? Like I said, I'm going to put the link also down at the bottom, okay? But anyway, let's see. We're about 170, so we're almost there. And listen, y'all got to keep me right. I kind of get in a hurry sometimes, and I kind of forget steps. Well, I forgot a step. So that's one good thing that my director, a.k.a. cameraman, Brother Cowboy's not in here, because he would have just, wanted me to start all over from square one, and we're not going to do that. So let me tell you, I'm just going to take my chances. I think they're going to still turn out good. But remember, we've got a, what do you call this? A chopstick. Yeah, this little wooden thing. You're supposed to get the bubbles out, okay? Well, I didn't. But I think I packed them tight enough that it's going to be okay. I don't think there was any air in there because I packed them pretty tight. But anyway, just don't forget, after you put the brine in, go around the edges to get the bubbles out, okay? Then put your flats on, your lids, and your rings, okay? So, anyway, we just about there. I tell you what, this is going to go for about 30 minutes. And then when we're done, after 30 minutes, I'll be back. Okay, so it's been 30 minutes. Let's turn the fire off. And we're going to take the jars now out of the water. So, get your little nifty jar lifter. Set these on the towel. And eventually you're going to hear popping. That's where the lids start really sealing. When you hear that pop, you know they're sealed good. Ooh, look at those pickles. Don't they look delicious? And I wanted to show you, like I said, tomorrow I'm going to be working on okra. I'm going to make some pickled okra. And so what I've got over here is, like I said, just like I did with the cucumbers, the pickling cucumbers, you want to first let them sit in some brine for a few days, okay? So I'm going to only let these okras sit for one day, overnight, and then tomorrow afternoon probably I'll do the pickling on the okra. But see what I've got? This is a white little Tupperware bucket, whatever, with just water, plain water. That's all this is. And it's just going to be a weight, because after you wash your okra real good, you're going to put them in another bucket of cold and preferably distilled water, some kind of distilled water, and you want to make sure it's cold, okay? So you're going to put that in there along with probably about 1/4 of a cup of just plain old salt, just salt. And so once you mix all that salt water up and the salt's dissolved, put your okra down in there. And your okra, of course, they want to float up to the top, and you don't want that. You want it to settle underneath that water. So that's where this other little bucket comes in handy, with some just plain water in it to set down on top of it to act as a weight. So I'm going to cover this up with foil because I don't like to set things inside of my refrigerator without foil, without it being covered. So I'm going to cover this up. I'm going to set it for overnight, and like I said, tomorrow I will pickle these. Now I did have some brine that was left over, and I can use this tomorrow. So I've got brine already sitting here, but I'm going to actually make some more brine to add to it. But anyway, these are going to go into pint jars. Where these are in quart jars, my okra is going to go into pint jars. So anyway, there you go. There's the pickling process. I hope y'all enjoyed this. See you next time. So anyway, I just wanted to tell y'all that I did mess up, okay? I messed up.
Hey, what are you doing? I said I was going to film it for you. Are you doing this by yourself?
Well, listen. You were busy out there with the...
But it ain't going to come out good without me showing the camera.
I can... Look, I managed to do this. See?
No,
look, I got it all set up.
But it ain't going to look right without me. I'm the cameraman for you.
I don't think you have
You trying to take my job away.
See,
if we had a union, I'd file a grievance on you. Because I am your cameraman and I'm going to do a good job for you. So come on, let's get it done. Where's the stuff?
I'm done. I did it all by myself.
See, this ain't right, sister.
And look, I feel liberated. I'm free at last. I'm free at last. I'm liberated. I can start doing my own videos by myself.
You trying to take my job away?
No.
I'm a good Well, you don't like the way I film your stuff?
I didn't say that.
I mean, I'm done with my work out there, and you had me thinking I was going to film your stuff for you. I had some ideas I was going to do. I was going to give some special angles.
I'm sorry. Are you offended?
Yeah, I am offended.
I'm sorry.
Because I was going to give some angles, you know, 2 double shots and something coming down from your head so they could see your fingers
well,
and
just
everything.
this one. I'll just do this one. I won't ever offend you in that.
It ain't going to look good. It ain't going to look good. It ain't going to fly because you didn't have me in there. See, you should... The way you got that camera over there, that ain't going to look right.
I think it's perfect.
Well, I won't see it.
Well, I'll let you see it. I'll show it to you. And I think you will just say that it turned out perfect. Now, I did forget to use this stick, but that wasn't something you had any control over. That was me because I'm forgetful. Yeah. Anyway. Anyway, as I was saying, don't forget to use this stick right here to get the air bubbles out, okay? Good morning.